And we're live.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash.
double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and citations to the elect. We're the brothers of Great Millstone, Miami, out here another week, to prophesy of the Lord's return. Okay? All right, because that's the times we're living in. We're in the times where the Most High is, visiting the world. It's past the point of beginning. He visited it.
Yep.
All right. As we always go into, man, there's a lot of things going on in the world. Okay. Uproars of the people is a major thing. Earthquakes. There's been a lot of earthquakes recently. Record-breaking heat as well. You also got snowstorms, blizzards, hurricanes, tornadoes. These things are all signs of the end. All right, famine is being talked about. They're talking about the mark of the beast, the RFID chip. Okay, and they're talking about the next big one. They're talking about the epidemics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so new diseases are on the horizon. Talks of EMPs and grid failures, wars and rumors of wars, man. So yes, we are at the end. The Lord is coming back, man. So we're just gonna go through the scriptures, man. We don't, of course, have anything planned. We don't. We just go through the Spirit, and we'll see where the Lord takes us, man.
That's right.
What's up, brother?
This is, let me start at 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, and verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
That's right. Okay. So when you see the signs come to pass that the Lord spoke of before, which before means the ancient prophets.
Yep.
Okay, the things of old. Scriptures say that the Lord will visit thee with thunder and earthquake and flaming fire and tempest and storm. That's what we've been seeing for quite some time now, man. And every year it gets worse. Every year it's more record breaking than the last. Okay? So that's how you're gonna know when the Most High is getting ready to visit the world, which he made. Okay? All right, we're in the last days, ain't no doubt about it, man. All right, the ages of this world in this age.
That's right.
Ain't gonna be no future, kingdom where Japhet rises up or something. Nah, man. This is it, man. And everybody knows that this is it, man. There's a suspense in the air, man. There's a tension in the air where everybody knows something is getting ready to go down. They may not necessarily be able to, put it into words or put their finger on it. Okay, and they may not necessarily believe or agree it's the Bible. They might try to push it to the back of their mind, but at the end of the day, when you sit down and take a moment to think about it, this is definitely the end, man. Okay? All right, and after this is going to be a kingdom wherein dwelleth righteousness.
That's right.
Okay, that will last and endure forever. Okay, which is Yahushai's kingdom.
Yeah, you quoted, I'm bringing out, because the Lord is visiting. Isaiah chapter 29, verse 6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts, meaning the Lord of armies, with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. And you clearly see that all throughout the world, man. Okay, and that's a sign that the Lord is visiting. All right. Okay, he's shaking his hand. All right, and then he's gonna come personally to you people, man. All right. He's going to crack the sky, so to say, and meet thee. All right, but he's not meeting you as a man. He's coming as a full, powerful force. Next verse, 7. And the multitude of all the nations that fight against Ariel, all right, Ariel's a title for Israel, even all that fight against her and her munition, and that distress her shall be as a dream of a night vision. Right. So the Lord's, hey, this is a sign. When we're seeing all these events are happening, we know Yahushua is coming. All right, to take these enemies out, which are these heathens. All right, take out our enemies. Okay, and Slovakia got YNs. A lot of YNs down here, northern and southern kingdom. Miami's gonna be a fucking hell on earth when all hell breaks down here with these YNs, man. Northern and southern kingdom uniting and going wild in Miami, it's gonna be on another level, man. Anyway. But hey, Yahushua is coming to take out our enemies, man. These heathens, all right, that touched the apple of his eye.
That's right.
And that's why when we see these, these weather events and all that, we're like, that's the Lord shaking his hand, like, hey, all right, this is just a beginning. Basically, what the Lord is doing right now, All right, he's doing he's doing his conventional warfare. There you
Yeah.
go. That's what he's doing. But
Body
then he's gonna
shots.
get
Pow, pow, pow.
body shots, exactly. But then he's gonna come up in your face, all right, and get nasty with it in righteousness on y'all, man. This shit gonna get wild, man. That's what we're telling our people. You want to get away from the Lord's wrath. You want to be on his good side, because when he comes, there ain't no talking, there ain't no diplomacy. It's straight up judgment.
That's right.
You got it. You got it.
Going back to 2 Ezra 9:3. Therefore, when thou shalt be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder, and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs.
That's right, man. So everything in the world has a beginning and an end. Okay? Whether you want to talk about the conception and birth of a child, you know, whether you want to talk about just life in general, there's a time where you're born, there's a time you die. Okay? The seasons, okay, you know, the onset of spring, and the end of spring, the onset of summer, and the end of summer, the onset of autumn, and the end of autumn, and the onset of winter, and the end of it. It's just how it is, man. Okay? This is how it is, man. All right? So this world has a beginning and an end too, man. All right? And every kingdom has a beginning and an end, and the world knows that this current kingdom, all right, which America is at the forefront of this current rulership, all right, it's coming to its latter end. Everybody knows that, man. Okay? All right, it's going to go out with a bang, man.
That's right.
Okay, matter of fact, when you actually look into it, America is the seat of the most natural disasters and freak weather catastrophes on Earth.
Yep.
The most
Okay.
UFO sightings.
Most UFO sightings. Come on, come on, man. Lord speaking.
Yeah, Google it. It's worth a Google. Hey, what the beloved elder brought out is saying is facts, man.
Yep.
It's worth a Google. America has the most, it's what they call natural disasters than any country under the sun, man.
Yeah, and the most devastating weather too.
Yeah.
It's devastating, man. This shit is record breaking every single year.
Oh,
Okay. All right. When you really think about it, with America, man, like, you know, certain parts of the earth, they deal with calamities too, but it's usually a certain kind of calamity. Like in Africa, Middle East, they deal with drought,
Yeah.
right? You know, you might have certain parts of the world that deal with, you know, typhoons. Another part of the world that really deal with volcanoes, or snow, or earthquakes. America get all of that shit. America get drought, blizzard, volcanic shit going on, tornadoes, hurricane, drought, earthquake, everything, man. Y'all get it all, man. Okay? And y'all get it at the worst, man. Okay? So, hey, that's the symptoms of a dying kingdom, man.
yep.
Okay? That's how the Lord does it. And that's scriptural, too, because when you read in the Bible, when our kingdom, when our empire that was established by King David, you know, and forwarded by King Solomon, all right, when it was beginning to decline, the Lord sent plagues upon our rulers. He sent different plagues upon our land. The prophets was prophesying, like, look, drought is coming.
Yep.
Famine is coming. You know, earthquakes was happening back then too. You know? All right, that's why the Lord was like, look, y'all crying because y'all ain't got the former and the latter rain. Well, you serving Ishtar to give you rain and Baal.
Yeah.
Yep.
All you gotta do is come to me and I'll give you all of that.
That's right.
You know, our cattle was dying and shit. Our people were being plagued by disease. Violence was all up in the land. The rulers were corrupt. You know, the nations was rolling up on us, you know, taking our people into captivity. You know, our money was funny.
Money.
Okay, our cities were being demolished. All right, and eventually we fell as a nation, man.
Yep.
You know, so that's the symptoms of a dying kingdom, man.
I got
And we
something.
see that happening all over here again in America, Babylon the Great.
2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arms, talking about Israel, or the elect, and smite Egypt, here's the point, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof.
Right. And that's what's happening. Matter of fact, it was a few years ago, which I remember around that time I used to be so mad because I actually did a video because there was an article that came out. It was like, oh, is America being plagued like ancient Egypt? Is America being plagued by God with disaster? Right? And so I found an article on it, and you know, I've noticed over the past so many years, like back in the day when when a headline would come out like that, you could actually just read straight through the article.
Yeah.
Now you got to sign up for the website, and you know, Shalom, you got to sign up for the website. You got to get a subscription. You got to pay.
Yep.
Because if you don't, you either won't be able to read the article at all, or you only probably read the first 2 sentences, and then the screen blacks out on you. Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
You know. But I did a lesson on that, man. You know, is America being plagued? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
This is Egypt all over again. Okay? Egypt all over again, man. Okay? So the same way, again, Egypt was an example of that. What happens when the kingdom is getting ready to fall? The Lord's getting ready to bring judgment on them. Plagues start happening, man. You know, weather catastrophes and phenomenon, diseases start breaking out. You know, death just starts occurring at a high rate. You know, and we see that, man. Matter of fact, in that same chapter, the brother's reading talks about how the Lord, the sore shall mourn.
Yep.
Go ahead, brother.
Verse 12. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God shall bring upon it. 13. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation.
Right. Okay. So they that till the ground shall mourn. We see that. The farmers are complaining.
Farmers are complaining heavy. They got suicide hotlines for farmers.
Yeah.
All right, because their crops are dying. Yeah. You know, that's a sign, man, that the Lord is visiting the earth. That's a sign that the Lord is plaguing this place. So this place is done. The end is speaking. All right, it's no longer tearing. Okay, like it says in Habakkuk, it is speaking now, man. Blessed is he that readeth.
Yep. So we see that. We see that, man. Okay. They're not getting funding from the state or from the government. Okay. You know, their crops are being destroyed, whether by man-made disasters or by just the weather in general. Okay.
Right. And that's why.
Or they're being commanded to kill their crops, destroy their crops, or their cattle and chickens for money.
Yep. Now, I'm glad you brought that out, because not only is the Lord plaguing these farmers, you know, destroying their crops, then Esau, being the wicked, he's like, kill the cattle, get rid of it. All right? Because what is Esau pushing out? Forever burgers, GMO meat, you know, synthetic meat, shit created out of a lab. Yeah. And that's what he's going to force on the people to eat, man. Okay? Slop, man, from his own witchcraft. So this place is done, man. You're not even able to eat real food, man. That's why if the scriptures say, unless the Lord shorten the time, no flesh shall be saved. Get that? You know? The scriptures say, unless the Lord have not shortened the time, no flesh shall be saved. Imagine eating fake meat. What's that going to do to your health? All right? And then you're giving it to your children if you have kids, man. Yep. This is what we're telling our people. You on this sign, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and the Americans, it's time for you to repent. You're God's chosen people, man. The Lord is shortening times for our sake. So we get the hell up out of here. You can't raise children in this God-forsaken place.
Hell no.
You got it, brother.
Matthew 24 and 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world. To this time, no ever shall be.
Right, and we're heading into that great tribulation, man. People thinking it's sweet now, man. You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till that draft comes, man. Wait till that famine comes. All right, where you can't go to the store anymore. All right, wait till you see that military troop with a high-power rifle pointed at you, saying, "Back up." Okay. Wait, hey, that's the time of tribulation. That's what Yahweh Shai, who he called Jesus, was telling his people. Okay. All right, it's gonna be worse than 70 A.D., man. You got it.
And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved.
There you go. Except those days shall be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. That's talking about now. Now, man. You got, like you said, you got chariot sightings. That's a sign that the Lord, all right, is coming back.
That's right.
He's shortening the times, man. You know? waking up that we're Israelites,
That's right.
that's a sign
That's a sign.
that the Lord is shortening the time. Us knowing that we're Israelites.
Mhm.
We're no longer black. We're no longer Hispanic. We're no longer Native American. Shalom. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you too. You know, we're no longer black. We're no longer Hispanic. We're no longer Native American. We're Israelites from perspective of tribes. Shalom, So, so hey, that's a sign that the Lord's shortening the times, man. We woken up. Oh, the wicked being revealed.
That's right.
You know, if you want to get, you got something, Shia?
You want me to get that 2 Thessalonians?
Yeah, get the 2 Thessalonians. That's a sign, man. That's a sign of that we're at the end of speaking, man.
Yep.
And the times are being shortened. We ain't gonna be here another 20, 50, 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Idiots saying some shit like that.
1,000
Okay?
years.
We got a matter of months, man. That's why we're watching this technology with the RFID chip, the mark of the beast, being rolled out. And they're doing it, all right? Lock in step, man. Lock in step. All right? Because the Lord is shortening the times. But you got it.
This is 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed,
Right.
the son of perdition.
That's two parts right there. There had to be a falling away, which happened. All right? We fell away from our heritage. We were disconnected from our heritage for being disobedient, all right, to our power. Okay? All right, so that prophecy was fulfilled. Prophecy's been fulfilled. A lot of prophecies were fulfilled, man. Okay? We're in the end times. And then what happened? It said the wicked will be revealed. Who's the wicked? The so-called white man. Esau, Edom. All right, start with the Illuminati, the elites. Right? The secret societies, the Freemasons, the Jesuits, the Demolay, the Knights Templars, all these secret societies that the Edomites run. Oh, the Zionist movement, all right? The protocols of Zion. All right, with them JJs. They're being revealed. And what are they doing? They're doing wickedness. They want to destroy the people. They want people to be corrupted in the mind and then ultimately take that device, the RFID chip. You got it.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God.
Right. And clearly, it's this so-called white man. When it comes to science, when it comes, all right, to history, he's giving you his version of it and exalting himself. All right, he was all-knowing and all-powerful, man.
Right.
That's some bullshit, right?
Right.
But it proves that the prophecy's being fulfilled.
When you
Okay.
type in God, who comes up?
Ooh, that's a good one. Water.
You know, type in God on Google and go to images. What you gonna see? Look at the Sistine Chapel, the
Yep.
painting, the hand of God or whatever. With God touching so-called Adam. You know, set him up as a so-called white man. So they're fitting the scriptures. There's no way that they could get around it. That's how the Lord wanted to expose them. You can't get around it.
Yep.
You know?
Facts. You got it, brother.
Yep. It says, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
Right. And what the beloved brother just said is on point, man. Okay, and then you got these imposters in our land
Yeah.
calling themselves they're the chosen people. All right? All right? Saying that this is what the chosen people will look like, them. That's out of order. And it doesn't make no sense. The land don't even like them. That's why they gotta import stuff to that land. And then they get hit with sun cancer, man. All right? But again, this is the wicked being revealed. All right? Trying to put his dominance on the earth, saying I'm God. All right? Again, back to the technology, back to the science. What was it? Noah Harari. He's like, we don't need God anymore. Okay?
He said we can make God as angry as we want.
Right.
We can create our own water.
Yep.
We can create our own food.
That was a JJ, man. 1948, a proud ass 19 parent. Man, when I heard that, man, I was like, man, I want to just fucking do a karate chop to his neck, man.
But he in the right spirit.
But he's in the right
though.
spirit.
You know,
Yup,
he's
yup,
the devil.
yup. He's the devil. Again, you're fulfilling that prophecy. You got it, brother.
Verse 8, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth.
Right. So again, the Lord set it up that the wicked will be revealed now. Okay, he will be revealed now.
Right.
All right, with the spirit of his mouth, meaning the prophets. All right, going into the history. All right, showing. All right, the receipts. This is the wicked. Okay.
Yeah. It's time for him to pay the piper.
Yeah.
You, that badass nigga at school who always getting away with trouble and shit.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Causing problems, think he a fucking bully or some
Yep.
shit. Oh man, when it's time for his ass to fucking get it,
Yep.
you know? Probably seen the police lock the nigga up. You know what I'm saying? He done did some shit. Oh, that nigga gone.
Yep.
You know? But the Lord gonna kill this nigga, man. The Lord gonna kill Esau Edom. It's time for, he's being exposed because the Lord about to destroy him. That's immediately after this expose of these devils, man. Mm-hmm.
And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Woo! Again, hey, that's why the Lord shortened the times. That's why you see chariot signs, because now the Lord is about to meet thee, and he says, I'm not going to meet thee as a man in Isaiah chapter 47. Now he's going to show up, okay, in your face, man, okay, as a travailing woman. You know what I'm saying? All right? His war cry, man. And a lot of you Edomites, you're going to be decimated, man.
Right.
Okay? You're going to be taken out, man.
Right.
Because look what you've done to the Lord's people and to his planet, man.
Right.
You've done messed it up, man.
Right.
This whole ecosystem is done, but you got it, brother.
And look what you done to his land, especially.
Yep.
And the Lord gonna get you for that. Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 5, it says, Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh our power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen. Right, and that's how we speak. You know, our Lord is a jealous power. He put the spirit upon us to prophesy against this bitch. And spare not, man. And give the Lord not rest. And he make us a praise in the earth. But to call out the wickedness of this shit. But it says, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea. And in the NLT it says, especially Edom.
NOT be that body shot.
Right?
You know, making it plain. Plain upon tables.
It says, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with the spiteful minds to cast it for a break.
Again, back to them JJs, them 1948ers. All right? That was established by deception and fraud, man. Okay? And that's why the whole world is confused, man. All right? These people went into that land, okay, and done nothing but wickedness on that land, okay, and then projecting like they're the chosen people, man.
They got a pride parade, one of the
Pride,
biggest in
yeah.
the world.
You know, even
Big
when
city.
that's great, you know, with this pride parade, that goes to show you that these Edomites, man, they were always crooked from the beginning, man. They were always, and there's even data, statistics that show that most of them JJs that dwell in the land, they identify themselves as secular JJs.
Right.
Okay, they do not think about the Torah, and if they think about the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, it has to be interpreted by the Talmud, not the Torah. That's a fact, man. Okay, that's a fact. Okay, and now the whole world is being deceived by these jokers,
Right.
except for us.
Right, these jokers don't care. You think if the true Israelites were in the land that you would still have the fucking Dome of the Rock on the Temple Mount, Islamic sites and
Yeah.
shit? They don't fucking care. They got that land for opportunity to cast it for a prey. That's how they able to rule the earth, you know, with this Zionist movement and all that BS, man.
Nope.
You know? But the Lord is calling them out. He's telling you that other people will have our land. The heathen shall trot down our land.
Yep.
You know? But Ezekiel 36:6 says, Prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh our power, Behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen. Right, we have suffered before these nations. The true Israelites were suffering amongst these nations, man. You know? Because we got scattered. We got cast out the land. You know? Verse 7, it says, Therefore thus saith the Lord power, I have lifted up my hand. Surely the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame.
Yep.
You know? So we in the time that the Lord about to come up against these heathens, man. Finally. While building us up, man. His true people, man. You know?
Yep.
There you go.
That's it.
That's right.
That's it.
2 Thessalonians 2:9. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders.
Right. His coming is working as read that one more time,
Yeah.
Kushar.
Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan.
After the working of Satan. So this is a people coming after the working of Satan. It's talking about these Edomites, starting with them JJs, the Amalekites, man.
Yep.
Okay, because what are they doing? They pushing out what? Everything contrary to the Lord. They're adversary to the scriptures, man. Even when it comes to identifying if who's in Israel or not. Oh, according to them, it's by your mother. That's totally against the scriptures. That's one example of many, man.
Right.
Okay? All right? You got momos running around and the statehood of the JJs, you know, having parades and stuff. That's bullshit, man.
Pig farms.
Yeah.
What the fuck is kosher pork?
Yeah, what the hell is that? You know?
What? You Google it. They kosher pork.
Hey, I was at Total Wine the other day. I told brothers, and JJ, he had a small hat on too. He was in front of me, and the cashier, it took a while. Like, what the fuck is they talking about? I'm ready to get the fuck up out of there. After the JJ leave, the cash register say to me that he asked, can he go pray over the cigars so they can become kosher? Yeah. Nah, they ain't got it.
They ain't got it. Pray over cigars.
Yeah, he looked like he had the strings fucking coming down from his fucking head with the fucking small hat on, you know. And then he went and said, he asked the guy, can you pray over the fucking cigars at Total Wine to make them kosher? What the fuck is, kosher is, what the fuck is that shit? You know?
Right, that's Talmud bullshit, man.
Right.
That's what that is, man. But it goes to show you that they ain't the people, man. All right? They are the physical counterpart of Satan. Adversary. Everything they do is contrary to the scriptures. You got it, brother.
It says, verse 10, and with all deceivableness.
Deceivableness. Isn't that what this man's been doing? Since he got into power, been deceiving the whole world, bro. You know? You got it, brother.
And unrighteousness in them that perish.
Exactly. All right? And a lot of our people are going to perish, man, following after this man. You know what I'm saying? Following after this devil, you know? Still defending this devil. After all the proof that he's been nothing but, okay, evil towards our people, you still got, to this very day, certain of our people saying, well, God loves everyone. What about the so-called white man? You know? Doesn't he get salvation too?
I mean, well, that's not in the Bible,
That's
bro.
not
That's,
in-
like, that's the thing, man. You Jakes out there, you know, whether you're Christians or whether you're Israelites who've been trying to fucking, you know, save the heathen, like, that's nowhere in the prophecies, bro.
Right.
That's nowhere in the prophecies. The prophecies talk about the salvation of Israel. Period.
Yep.
That's what it talks about, bro. You
Right.
can't find no prophecies in the Old Testament, which the New Testament is based off of the Old Testament, that saves Esau. Everything is about him is utter destruction.
Right.
Okay? And then there's that argument, oh, Abraham wasn't an Israelite. Bro, shut up. Okay? All right? First of all, the Bible's tracking a specific chosen lineage from Adam all the way down to Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. Okay? All right? Originally, that line was known as the Adamites, the sons of God, okay, who descended from Adam. All right? And eventually they became known as the sons of Eber, the Hebrews, which is where you get Abraham from. It says scripture saying that Abram was a Hebrew, okay, which is calling him a Hebrew wasn't just about the language that he spoke, but the people that he descended from, which was Eber, all right, who was, I believe, the grandson of Shem. All right, and then from Eber, you get Abraham. From Abraham, you get Isaac, and then from Isaac, you get Jacob. Okay, and whose name was changed to Israel. Israel meaning what? He is a prince of God. A prince is a son of a king.
Yep.
Okay, that's why when the Lord sent Moses to Pharaoh, he said, told Moses, to tell Pharaoh, let my people, let Israel go that he may serve me, because he's my son. Israel's my son, even my firstborn, man. So Israel, the Israelites are the sons of God. The lot of the sons of God fell upon the nation of Israel.
Yep.
Hey, bro.
Okay, that's why the history of Adam, you motherfuckers be talking about, Abraham and Noah and Shem and you know, and Adam and Abel and Seth and Enoch. All these righteous men that y'all try to use as a fallback to prove that salvation isn't solely for Israel, because they weren't technically Israelites. Okay, because they weren't actually from Jacob's loins, which is really foolish, because if you actually understand the story of the Bible, the Israelites were the one who were entrusted with that legacy, because they're the ones who are carrying it on. That's why you got to go to the Bible, which is a book that was written by Israelite men.
Yep.
Okay, to actually learn about Adam and Eve and Abel and Seth and Enoch and Enos
I got that
and
verse.
Noah and Shem and Abraham and Isaac and Jacob
In Exodus 14.
and Job and all these great men. That's why you got to go to the Bible. You got to go to the Israelites' records, man.
Yep.
All right, because they're the lot of the sons of God fell upon them, and they're the ones who are continuing that legacy in the earth, man.
If I may say, the scripture
Period.
say Israel 2,301 times.
Yep.
The Lord make it clear, like he literally sent Ishmael away.
Yep.
Right.
He ain't let him stick around
Yep.
to prove a point that in Isaac shall thy seed be called when it came
Right.
to Abraham. He sent Abraham's other son away into the freaking desert. Because it's about this particular seed that the elder brother is explaining to you about.
Right.
You know?
I'm gonna bring out what the elder quoted. Exodus chapter 4, I'm gonna start at 21, but the point is in 22 and 23. And the Lord said unto Moses, when thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I will put in thy hand, but I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. Verse 22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Israel is my son, even my firstborn.
Right. So the
Right.
sons of God are the Israelites, man. That's why Yahweh Shai said, is it not written in your law? I have said that ye are gods and all of ye are the sons of the Most High. The fuck? If being an Israelite didn't matter, then why did the Messiah, Jesus, who you call Jesus Christ, why did he come as an Israelite man?
Mm-hmm.
The principal son, the Son of God, came as an Israelite man
Yep. From the tribe of Judah.
from the tribe of Judah.
Say in the New Testament.
Come on, bro.
Real quick, Hebrews 7 and 14. For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood.
Right.
You know?
And what,
So-
what
so-
book is that?
That's the book of
Hebrews.
Hebrews,
Oh,
man.
shoot. Okay.
Oh.
And the book of Hebrews, one thing I like about the book of Hebrews, because you got to understand the customs that we kept as a nation that Moses gave to us. What Moses was really doing was reintroducing a way of life that we had fell away from because we had been in Egypt for so long. Okay? That's why when you read about the patriarchs like Joseph and Jacob and, you know, Abraham, Isaac, you know, they was making altars and doing sacrifices. Okay? Abraham was paying tithes to Melchizedek.
Yep.
You know, Joseph didn't want to commit no adultery.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
things like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that was a custom, that was a way of life that they had been carrying on, going all the way back to Shem.
Nope.
Okay, going all the way back to going back all the way back to Noah, going all the way back to who? Adam.
Yep.
Okay, so that's what the laws are about being written in stone, was them being reintroduced to a way of life that existed before Jacob's name was actually changed to Israel, and the Israelites actually became a nation. Okay, when you read the book of Hebrews, the 11th chapter talks about who? It talks about Abel giving a more excellent sacrifice than Cain. Okay, it talks about Noah. Okay, it talks about Enoch.
Enoch. Nope.
Okay, all right, it talks about Abraham
Mm-hmm.
and Isaac and Jacob and Sarah.
And if I may
Okay.
add, Elder, you always stress here in GMS Miami the importance of Genesis. Why
Yeah.
Genesis is so important. All right, because it is the foundation of our heritage, of our history, of our lineage.
Yes.
So you can't just go to the New Testament and ignore Genesis, okay? The book of Genesis, all right? The book of Exodus. You can't ignore that, man, all right? Because, again, you're taking out, all right, what the Most High had intended for his people from the
Right.
beginning.
Right.
You're taking away the blessings, all right? You're taking away, all right, the history of him saving us from our enemies, you know? And that's why we can't stand you plantation Christians, man.
Mhm.
We can't stand y'all, man, because you clearly are disannowing everything the Lord did for his people, man.
Right, right.
Everything he did. The
Right.
creation itself is for us. He created earth for our sake, man. You know?
Right.
I just wanted to make that. I know you always stress that. Genesis is very important. And we like going into Genesis because that's how we get you plantation Christians on all this bullshit, man. All this bullshit. Who's salvation for? Who the Lord chose? All right? How did the 12 tribes spring out, man?
Yeah.
That's an important history, man.
Right, right.
I got a little bit more on this.
Right.
Exodus chapter 4. Continuing on in verse I'll read 22 again. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. Verse 23. And say unto thee, let my son go, talk about Israel, that he may serve me, and if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn.
Right.
And didn't that happen?
Right.
Okay? So where was the love and compassion for these other nations? No,
Right.
man.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. You know.
Well, the Lord did say in Psalms that He dealt so with no other nation, man.
Exactly.
Huh?
Bring it out.
Bring it up.
Psalms 147, verse 19. He showeth His word unto Jacob, His statutes and His judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for His judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord Yahweh.
There you go, man. So the Lord is dealing with the Israelite nation, period. All right, and the Bible is a testament to that fact, man. It's crazy because the scripture, the Lord constantly says that He's the God of Israel. I'm the Savior of Israel. That's constantly throughout the Bible, man. And it's important historically why that was the case, man. Okay. All right, that the Lord made sure that He was known as the God of the Israelites because all the other nations had their own gods and customs. Okay? When Israel came on the scene, they were coming on the scene from sojourning amongst other nations. Abraham was in Ur of the Chaldees, you know. Then they had to travel and sojourn in different parts of Mesopotamia and eventually in Canaan. Then they went down into Egypt eventually. They were there for hundreds of years, picking up on different customs, you know, and different ways of life, man. And the Lord used Moses as a forerunner to take them out of that lifestyle and bring them back to Him. Okay, that's why the Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, those books were written down and given to the Israelites to reintroduce them to a way of life, and that's why they had to sojourn in the wilderness 40 years to beat Egypt off of them, man.
Oh,
Exactly.
Okay, and when they went into Canaan, they were commanded to slaughter everybody there and destroy their images, man. So they wouldn't end up falling back into the idolatry that they just left. That's what the whole point of that situation was, man. Okay, the only reason we have the Bible today is because of the relationship that the Most High had with a specific group of people, man. That's the only reason why we have the Bible today, man. And you gotta understand that, man. Because again, the other nations, they believed in other bullshit. They believed in all different type of creation myths and sexual magic rituals that their gods performed to create the creation.
yep.
Apparently, in some Egyptian myth, the reason why the Milky Way and mankind exists is because some Egyptian god ejaculated into everything into existence.
Yep.
That's crazy, man. You know, in Hindu religion, you got gods having sex,
Yep.
and that's how the creation came to be. You know, all type of weird fairy tales and just folklore and lies, man, and myths and legends, man.
That's why the Lord calls them beasts, animals, heathens.
Okay? All right, the Israelites are the ones who actually have the true understanding of how the creation came to be, how man came to be on the earth, and where they came from and their role in it all, man.
I got a precept right here.
Okay?
And for one, the first commandment, Exodus 20:3, it says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." That's the first commandment, because he had to let them know, just like the brother was just breaking down. But I want to get this, Psalm 147:19. It says, "He showeth His word unto Jacob, His statutes and His judgments unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any nation. And as for His judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord."
Yeah, Shamar just brought that out.
Yeah, that came out twice.
Yeah.
Hey, that's to emphasize on how important that is, man. Okay? The Lord's not dealing with any of these heathens, man. Okay? When it comes to salvation, when it comes to knowing about Him, the Lord's having an intimate relationship with His people, not these other heathens, man. Okay? That's why it says in Amos chapter 3, verse 7, all right, He revealed His secrets unto, He revealed His secrets unto His servants, the prophets, man.
Right.
The prophets are Israelites.
Right. And you got to understand, the Bible was never meant to be this universal book
Yeah.
where that was never the intent of the authors of the Bible. Again, the Most High had an intimate relationship with a specific group of people, man. All the other nations had their writings and their beliefs. Okay, that was to them. The Israelites had their writings and their beliefs, which is recorded in the Bible. Okay? It wasn't meant for everybody to just take a hold of and then try to assimilate themselves into the story. That's not how it was, man. Okay? That's not how it was, man. No matter how you try to twist it and try to put a square peg in a circle hole, it doesn't work that way, man.
If I may get this.
Okay? That was not the intent. That's why when you read the prophecies, it always speaks about the salvation of Israel and then the Lord bringing vengeance on the other nations, chiefly the Edomites, man.
That's in Revelation.
If I may get this real quickly, man. This is Yahushai's brother, all right, James. Okay, James 1:1. James, a servant of God and the Lord Yahushai Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings. Okay? The reason why I'm bringing that out is, again, even in the New Testament, all right, it was understood, all right, that salvation was for the Israelites and the Israelites only. This is why James' brother Yahushai wrote it the way he wrote it. Okay? You think he's going to buck up against what the Messiah was teaching? No. That's why the Messiah said, I've only come for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. All right? Because why? All right? We were lost. We lost our identity. We lost our custom. We lost our heritage.
Right.
Now we're coming back, okay, to the fold and remembering ourselves. So when you read these epistles in the New Testament, it's pertaining to Israel and Israel only. That's why James wrote to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Why scattered? Because we were scattered throughout all these nations, all right, by the heathen. Because of what happened? We were being disobedient from our power. Every time we were disobedient, the Lord would send the heathen as part of the curses in Deuteronomy chapter 28. All right, get the hell out of the land. All right, now you got Israelites in all these other countries, man. Okay, that's why it's very important, it's imperative to know the history so you understand the mystery.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to bring that up.
Right. Gotta know that.
Right. I just want to say this about Hebrews. Just again, you know, Hebrews 11 talks about those forefathers.
Yep.
Okay, letting you know that that our customs, what we believed in as a nation, all right, that eventually we became known as the Hebrews and eventually as the Israelites, preceded the actual man Israel and the Israelites. Okay. All right. Us receiving the law, statutes, commandments was just a continuation of that, a revitalizing, a reawakening of that. Okay, within a specific lineage of people, because again, that chosen lineage was continued through the Israelites. The law of the sons of God fell upon the Israelites. That's why we're the nation that the Lord had a priesthood for it, man. Okay, He chose the priesthood from among the sons of Aaron. The sons of Aaron are Levites. Levi is the son of Jacob.
Yep.
Okay, the kingly lineage, David, Solomon, they were from the tribe of Judah. Judah is the son of Jacob. Okay. All right, so come on, get your act together, man.
This is the book of Amos 3:1. Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Milk scriptures, man. That's why the milk scripture is so important.
You remember when we first came in
Yeah.
the camp and we and stuff like that? You who only? Yeah. It's like niggas can't fucking get it.
Yeah.
But it says it, man. And that's why the Lord is coming with great judgment, because these words are coming out and people acting like when it comes to the Bible, they just can't read, they just can't understand. Now the Lord hasn't given it to them to understand, but they wicked for what they're saying. If you don't know the scriptures, put it down, man. Put it down, because it's saying it over and over and over again. The Lord is only for his people. You know? You only have the Lord known, man. The Israelites. It answers all of our questions. Why did we have to go into slavery? Why were they able to do this? Why were they able to experiment on us? Why are we still in land of our captivity?
Hey, can you move with the smoke, please? This brother. Thank you.
Yep.
We giving all the answers, and really this is good news.
Smoke is bothering me.
It explains the whole plight of our people. All the hell we had to catch. Slave ships packed on there like sardines. Spanish Inquisition. They coming over here slaughtering the so-called Native Americans. It's because only you, the Lord, has known amongst all the nations of the whole planet Earth, man. You got it, boy. Oh, that was it?
That was
Yeah,
it.
that was it.
Hey, I got this. Romans 9:1. It says, I say the truth in Hamashiach. We don't say Christ. We say Hamashiach, man, which is the anointed, you know? The Messiah. It says, I lie not, my conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Spirit, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. So you're not going to be able to get around it. You're not going to be able to say, oh, that's just Old Testament. You know, this is Apostle Paul speaking about his people. He's saying basically these are the ones who he really have sorrow and grief for, who on their behalf he's speaking for. Verse 4, it says, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption. And when you go into the adoption, it's that particular relationship that the Lord chose to have with the 12 tribes of Israel. Literally, it says it. Matter of fact, let me get that.
Bring it out.
The adoption. Strong G 5206 with Theosia. It says that relationship.
Oh, wait, no. Read the whole thing, brother.
Oh, okay.
Read the whole thing.
Adoption as sons.
As sons. So who are the people that the law of the sons of God fell upon?
Yasha Ali.
Israel, man.
Yep.
That's why he changed Jacob's name to Israel. You understand? That was the Lord putting his stamp on a particular people, man. And bro, stop that, man. You see us talking, you being rude, man. Come on, man. The lot of the sons of God fell upon the Israelites. Okay, they were the ones that were adopted as sons. That's why the Lord gave them law, statutes, commandments, and discipline to abide by, man.
Right.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
It says that relationship which the Heavenly Father was pleased to establish between himself and the Israelites in preference to all other nations.
And that's facts, man. That's
I'll
facts.
try to interrupt you guys, but
You are interrupting us. You're interrupting us, and we don't want to talk to you. We've been ignoring you the whole time. Leave us alone. Go away.
is it 'cause I'm white?
Go away. Go
Not 'cause
away.
white.
Go away. Go find a bath or something, man.
Continue.
Romans 9 and 4.
Shit,
I
fucking
don't
rude.
believe
Being
God.
musty is rude, man.
We know.
Allah.
Fuck. That musty shit, man. I can't stand that musty shit, man. That shit fucking disgusting, man.
Praise Allah.
Okay.
That's why you
Romans
smell
9
like
and
that,
4.
bro.
It says, see, that's why this is not for everybody.
Musty ass motherfucker, man.
This is not for everybody. Now, the Lord gonna have great mercy in these last days, but only upon the elect of our people and these heathens. It ain't for them.
Great example. The Lord had a great example. A drunk Edomite, all right, and destitute.
Who hasn't taken a shower
Right.
since the Dark Ages?
Yup. Literally. You know, and that's a foreshadowing of what's to come.
He missed it when Jake was teaching them how to wash their ass. He missed
Like,
it.
we gonna have to literally fucking spray hose these Edomites, man. All right. You know.
Are you guys planning jihad?
Okay.
Go ahead, brother.
You don't lift the shit up. They gonna know that you faking, man.
Yeah.
I'm not faking. I got hit by a car.
You lift. Hey, good.
Yeah, that's
All right.
That's
Are you
judgment.
planning jihad?
Right.
Romans 9
You
and
know
4.
what? I'm sending the CIA.
Who are Israelites? You know, hey, it's comedic relief is all right sometimes. Hey, Romans 9 and 4. Who are Israelites? To whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most
Wait,
High?
it said giving of the law. That we just read Psalms. What you brought out, what you brought out.
Right.
The laws were only given to Israelites. That's the reason why when we left Egypt, all right, the Lord gave Moses the law to give to the children of Israel. All right, the narrative never changed.
Also, when you go into Sirach, it tells us that what wisdom had sought for people for an inheritance to rest.
Yeah.
And the Lord made wisdom fall upon the nation of Israel.
Right.
See, Jacob, right? But that just goes to show because the Lord gave us a law, so he had to do what? He had to give us the understanding on how to keep that law as well, man. That's where the wisdom comes. So that just goes to show you on all aspects, the Lord was just dealing with us, man.
Right.
Straight up, bro.
Like the beloved
All
elder
the prophets
said.
were Israelites.
Yeah,
Like, bro,
yeah.
what are you talking
Right,
about?
right.
Man, bro. This shit is just, bro. Y'all just want to be bugged out.
Yeah,
bro.
They just want to get a nuke.
But no, like the beloved elder said a few minutes ago. Hey, we had to leave Egypt, and our minds were saturated with the customs of Egypt, bro.
Right.
That's the reason why the law had to, all right, be told to us, man. All right, several times, because 400 years in Egyptian captivity with the Egyptian customs. All right, I just want to make that point because you brought that out.
Right, that's why when
Yeah.
Moses was up there on the mountain,
Yeah.
niggas started building up a golden calf, man, because the Egyptians worshiped those different cattle gods,
Yeah.
man, and the bull, Apis bull, and all that shit, man. That was associated with fertility and crops and agriculture, man. You know, and a good harvest and shit like that, and,
The Lord
and
did-
sexual reproduction.
The Lord didn't send Moses and Aaron to talk to Pharaoh and say, make all Egypt worship my name. He said, give me my people. That's why when it says, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory in the NLT, it says, the Heavenly Father revealed his glory to them. When you read about all the great works, the miracles that the Lord did in the scriptures, he always did those for Israel. 185,000 Assyrians coming up against King Hezekiah in Jerusalem. The Lord sent an angel to wipe them out. For who? Israel.
Israel.
The Lord split the sea. Gave a pillar of smoke by day, a pillar of fire by night to lead who? The Israelites. He told who to chant in the walls of Jericho will fall. Israel, man.
Yep, yep.
What is y'all talking about? The Lord reveals his glory for his people. So, in the glory, in the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of the Most High, his priests, his prophets, and the promises,
Yep.
you know, the kingdom, immortality, the heathen for thy inheritance. Somebody got to be that heathen. Verse 5, whose are the fathers,
Yep.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and our ancestors, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Yahweh came, who is over all, the Most High blessed forever. Amen. So even in Romans 9, even in the book of Romans, in the book of Romans, oh, because he's talking in Rome, the Israelites that's in Rome, man.
Yep.
It's telling you that all of that is for the Israelites, man. You got to understand, Apostle Paul, Apostle Peter, them was sending letters in the time of the Roman Empire. Them people would kill you. They would lock you up. They had to talk in a way that if you were in the spirit, you would be able to receive it.
Yep.
Just like now, those same Edomites are ruling now, you know? But the Lord got it to where he's bringing it out and even exposing this man, you know?
Jump to the next chapter, chapter 11, Romans chapter 11 and 1.
Romans 11 and 1. I say then, Romans
Yep.
11 and 1. I say then, has the Heavenly Father cast away his people? God forbid.
There you go.
For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham of the tribe of Benjamin.
Man, that's Paul. That's Paul speaking, man. Okay? And again, you got to go into the history to understand the mystery. Who is Paul talking to? All right? In the book of Romans, he's speaking to the Israelite foreigners. All right, put him on game, let him know that the Lord has not cast away his chosen people at all. Reminding them. Okay?
Right.
All right? So you know, you plantation Christians and you bugged out Jakes trying to, slide in these heathens. All right, you're totally off. You're gonna die a horrible death, man.
Yeah.
All right, because the Bible is written by Israelites for Israelites. Salvation is for Israelites. Shoot, Acts chapter 5, verse what is it? 30. All right, salvation's for Israel.
Right.
You know. So come on, man. You know, that's why we're in the end time. That's why the Lord's shortening, because now people got to get judged for speaking lies and bullshit, and this basically just being wicked, bro, straight up. And that's why more people are gonna drop dead, man.
Right.
You see it, especially you plantation Christians. Lord's gonna put y'all through a goddamn gauntlet, man. You gonna be begging, all right, to be taken out of this earth.
Those Gentiles that the scriptures talk about for salvation in the New Testament, that's talking about the Israelites that scattered, and it clearly gives you a breakdown. Romans 9 and 25. As he saith also in Hosea, I will call them my people.
Real quick, as he saith in Hosea.
Right.
So, Paul is reciting the Old Testament verbatim.
Right.
He's quoting the Old Testament, just like Yahushua quoted the Old Testament. Just like all in the prophets in the New Testament, he always quoted the Old Testament. All right, to bring back remembrance to the Israelites. Because our people are.
And not just any parts of the Old Testament, parts of the Old Testament that talks about the salvation of Israel.
Come.
Right.
If it was about the heathen, then he should be referring to scriptures in the Old Testament that talk about the heathen getting saved. But guess
Yep.
what? Those scriptures don't exist.
Right.
Ain't no scriptures in the Old Testament about heathen getting saved.
Right.
Never was.
Romans 9:25, as he saith also in Hosea, I will call them my people, which were not my people. So when we're talking about this word being teaching, the Gentiles coming in, that's talking about those people who the Lord scattered. When he scattered, he was mad of it. He said, you ain't my people. Y'all ass finna go over there. Y'all ass finna go over there too. And y'all finna be servants and slaves. Y'all finna be trodden down. Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 to 68. All that's gonna happen to y'all.
Right,
'Cause
right.
y'all piss me off.
Right, and y'all gonna lose a sense of identity.
Yep, that's what the shit.
Because that's the thing that you got to understand. When the people are displaced from their land constantly, okay, they're suffering from exile.
Yep.
All right, because what comes with being in your land, you know, there's a sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sense of identity. There's a sense of culture that comes along with that. But when you're forcibly removed out of your land, families being broken apart, you know, you're getting your language beat out of you. Okay, you're being forced to serve other gods and customs. Over a period of time, you begin to lose a sense of your own identity, and you begin to identify with the people who took you captive. That's what happens. This is historical fucking fact.
Hey.
Even if you don't want to believe that the people on this sign are the Israelites, you can't tell me that the majority of the Negroes don't identify as Americans rather than Africans. If you believe that they're Africans, they identify more with American culture and being an American than being from West Africa.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, the natives,
Yep.
many of them speak English and Spanish, and you know they identify more with you know the Latinos. They speak Spanish and Portuguese, man.
Right.
A lot of them call themselves Spaniards.
Yep.
Brown, black as fuck
They wanna
Spaniards.
be.
Yep.
And wanna be, man.
Yep.
You know?
Roman Catholics. Why? Because they had been displaced. Their cultures have been destroyed. They've been oppressed. They've been taken captive. So over a period of time, they begin to identify with their oppressors, the land of their captivity, rather than where they